fam, hear me out. We're going into a different kind of journey here. We're diving into country music. I mean, the late, great Toby Keith. You know, I was a Toby Keith fan, but I was a Toby fan later in his career. You know, there was only, you know, I mean, I love this bar, obviously. And, you know, what was the one where he gets into the bar fight? I'm not as good as I once was. Hilarious. Greatness, but I never dived, I never looked into his earlier stuff. So, you know, guys, without any further ado, we're getting into it. Follow me here.
I bet you never heard old Marshall Dillon say.
Yeah, we're definitely into some new territory. He said, I never heard her. Yeah, I feel you, buddy. You know what I'm saying? These early 90s songs sound like, you know, Family Matters, Full House kind of vibes, right? They all kind of sound like they have that introduction to a wholesome, like, family show vibe.
I bet you never heard old Marshall Dillon say, Miss Kitty, have you ever thought of running away? Settling down, would you marry me? If I ask you twice and beg you pretty please. She'd have said yes in a New York minute. They never tied a knot. His heart wasn't in it. He just stole a kiss as he rode away. He never hung his hat up at Kitty's place. I should have been a cowboy. I should have learned.
Bro, it's those same vibes, right? You know, it reminds me of that Brad Paisley, well, I'm gonna miss her, right? What he's talking about, you know, she wants him to give up fishing, and then the chorus just shocks you. He's like, he gives up her instead of fishing. You know what I'm saying? And so Toby starts by telling this story, and it's like, you know, he never hung his hat up at Kitty's place. It's like he's fantasizing about this guy who lives this wild and free life. And he says, I should have been a cowboy. Right? He wants to avoid the life of responsibility. I don't think that the cowboy's life is necessarily that simple either. Let's continue to let him cook.
I should have been a cowboy. I should have learned to rope and ride. Wearing my 6-shooter, riding my pony on a cattle drive. Stealing a young girl's hearts, just like Gene and Roy. Singing those campfire songs. Oh, I should have been a cowboy.
My man wants to be a mover and a shaker. He wants to be a Rolling Stone. Respectfully. Continue.
I might have had a sidekick with a funny name, running wild through the hills, chasing Jesse James, ending up on the brink of danger, riding shotgun for the Texas Rangers.
See, like, this is the thing, man. It's like, I don't know Toby Keith's back catalog very well. Like, I'm familiar with kind of the, like, superstar Toby Keith, you know, where he was doing, you know, the, what was that song? I'm not as good as I once was. There was a time back in my prime. You know, that Toby Keith. And so, you know, I think that this is funny. He's talking about, I could have been, you know, running out there like Jesse, chasing down Jesse James. Like, he has this kind of romanticized image. And maybe that's the point of the song, is like, you know, be in the moment as opposed to assuming that you could be what you fantasize about, right? Because the fantasy is a little bit cartoonish, respectfully.
Brink of danger, riding shotgun for the Texas Rangers. Go west, young man. Haven't you been told California's full of whiskey, women and gold, sleeping out all night beneath the desert stars, with a dream in my eye and a prayer in my heart. I should have been a cowboy.
Do you see how in his fantasy everything goes his way? Isn't that the allure of fantasizing? Right? You're like, oh yeah, if I could just do this and do that, then I could do this and then I could do that. And then things would just all, you know, they would work out for me. You know, he imagines himself, the non-cowboy, imagines himself not only as a cowboy, but one who kind of is successful in a, you know, quick draw shootout. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's kind of the problem with, you know, abandoning the present for some potential future that appears in your mind. There's some depth to this song, respectfully.
I should have been a cowboy. I should have learned to rope and ride. Wearing my 6-shooter, riding my pony on a cattle drive.
Now listen to the development of that voice too. You know what I'm saying? No, don't sleep on Toby Keith. Down ride.
Stealing a young girl's hearts.
Right.
Just like Gene and Roy, singing those campfire songs. Oh, I should have been a cowboy.
Yeah, give me that say la moment, buddy. That's that la 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 bamba. Na 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 na.
I should have been a cowboy. I should have learned to rope and ride. I'd be wearing my 6-shooter, riding my pony on a cattle drive.
Bro, he said ride my pony. You know, I don't know if I would ever, I don't know if I would ride a pony. You know what I'm saying? I don't imagine a cowboy on a horse. So I don't know if I was like, hey, I'm riding my pony. A pony is kind of what, listen, I'm a city boy. But a pony is something, you get for your daughter. Your daughter rides the pony. The daddy rides the horse. You get up on that nag. Salute.
Stealing a young girl's heart. Just like Gene and Roy, singing those campfire songs. Oh, I should have been a cowboy.
Oh yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
I should have been a cowboy.
Guys, I'm finally understanding the spirit of this song, right? You see how easy that was? You see how it's just like the movies? Right? Reality is not just like the movies. I think that's the moral of this story. It's like, listen, everything that's happening in your mind, you save the damsel in distress by pulling out the gun in just the right time, and the villain, moves away. You don't end up in any trouble. It's always kind of landing on your side every time you roll the dice. Yeah, I appreciate what this song is trying to say. Continue, please. No, that was fire. That was fire, sir. Guys, where are we going next? Is it more Toby Keith? Like, listen, I am familiar with the Cowboy, the modern ones. I mean, listen, I spent 2 years in the oil field. I worked for Halliburton. I was fracking out in Fort Lupton, Colorado. Shout out to Team Maverick, those guys. And what we would call cowboys on the frack site were people who were willing to do dangerous things to keep the frack up and running. Because the thing is, like, if a Chickson was out of place, if one of the hoses wasn't properly tightened, we would have to shut down the whole frack site. And it would take, half an hour to get the whole frack up and going again. So sometimes the cowboys, what we would call them, these were the guys who would hop up on, the missile and start, hitting the Chickson with the hammer. Sorry if you're not familiar with this terminology. It's extremely dangerous, right? But they would risk life and limb just to keep the frack from shutting down. So even if you had cowboys on your team, it's kind of like, I appreciate that these guys are high value guys that can keep us making money instead of shutting down, every time we find out that we didn't kind of set things up properly. But at the same time, it's deeply unsafe. I mean, you go to some of these frack sites, and some of the guys who've been fracking for 10, 12 years, they're missing fingers. Some of them are missing entire hands. Some of them are missing other things. Freaking salute, Toby Keith. Listen, where are we going next? And look, I'm not this dive into the country genre does not entail the abandonment of the other genres. But I think I do want to upload like 3 videos a day. And I want to grind. I want to really, make it happen. So I'm going to probably be doing like, a country, a rock, and a hip hop on a daily. So whatever your genre is, whatever portion you want to follow, if you want to follow all 3, I deeply appreciate it. Nevertheless, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the Patreon if that option is available for you as well. Love you, family. Talk to me.